Good afternoon. Welcome to Grade 12 English First Additional Language. Today we're going to continue with a series of language lessons that are applicable for Grade 11 and Grade 12. We are going to look today at parts of speech, the functions, how it's asked in your question papers. Then we're going to take a look again at question tags and lastly at some aspects concerning plurals. Right. So it's a beautiful day to learn something new. So here we go. So we are going to look at the 9 parts of speech that we have encountered thus far. It's the noun, the pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, conjunction, preposition, article, interjection. We're going to look at what is a noun, what is the function of the noun, what types of nouns are there, and that's what we're going to do with all of these 9 parts of speech. Right, so the first one we are looking at is a noun. Now, a noun is a naming word. The first one we have is a common noun. It's the names of ordinary, everyday things like books and chairs and tables. For instance, there are desks, noun, and chairs, noun, in every classroom, noun. All of those common nouns. The next one we are looking at is a proper noun. Now, proper noun is names of people, places, and institutions. It's always written with a capital letter. That is your clue. It's always written with a capital letter. My teacher, Mrs. Jones, proper noun, comes from England, proper noun. Right, our next one is a collective noun. A collective noun it names a collection or a group, and you can replace that with lots of. So instead of saying lots of teachers, you can say a staff of teachers, or lots of pupils, you can say a class of pupils, a swarm of bees, a flock of sheep. Right, and then we get to an abstract noun. It is something which is not visible or tangible, so it names characteristics or feelings like happiness or determination. So, for instance, John's intelligence, abstract noun, and perseverance, abstract noun, won him the trophy. We are going to look a little bit deeper at the end of this lesson at the singular and plural of these nouns. So keep in the back of your mind, we are going to work specific with nouns when we look at the singular and plural forms. All right, so what is a noun? Noun is a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. Very simple, what you see in front. A person is a cowboy, place is a church, a ball, and justice is an idea. How do they ask it in a paper? They can either ask you, name the part of speech of the underlined word, and they can underline ball, and you can write down noun. If you don't necessarily write down common noun, they won't penalize you. They just want to see if you can see it's a noun. The more difficult way to ask it is to say, change the underlined noun into a verb, and use the word in a sentence to make the meaning clear. They give you the sentence, the old man was sitting in his chair, and they underlined the word chair. So now you must take that noun and change it into a verb and use it into a sentence. So that's the more difficult way to ask it of you in a language paper. Right, so to change the word chair, which is a noun, into a verb, I chose the sentence, he was chosen to chair the committee. In other words, he was the chairperson of that committee. Right, but that is used as a verb in that sentence. The same with the second one, she bought herself a bottle of wine. Bottle being the noun in the first sentence. Now, using it as a verb, she bottles all her anger up inside. And then the last 2 sentences, she hangs a beautiful painting against the wall. Painting in the first sentence used as a noun, and he is painting in his studio. He is doing something performing an action which is a verb. That's how I use the word painting as a verb in my second sentence. Right, so that was nouns. Now we get to an adjective. Now the work of an adjective is to describe a noun. So the adjective describes a noun. So first of all, if you want to identify your adjective, you must find your noun, identify your noun, then identify the word that describes the noun, and that is the adjective. So the red flower, identify your noun is the flower, and then the word describing the flower is red, and that would be your adjective. So an adjective is a describing word. How do they ask it of you? They love to ask it in the degrees of comparison, and not by asking you to give the degrees of comparison of the following word. They ask it, give the correct form of the word, and then they either give you the positive word, but it must be the superlative, or the comparative word in that specific sentence. So remember, your positive is happy, comparative, happiest, superlative, happiest, old, older, oldest, and careful, more careful, or most careful. They can ask it of you, write down the correct form of the word in brackets, or they can ask it in that first part of your language paper where they say correct the single mistake in the sentences where they give you the wrong degree of comparison. So make very sure about your adjective there, but the function of your adjective is to describe a noun. Right, now we get to a pronoun. Very basic. A pronoun stands in the place of a noun. So instead of saying Mary is fetching Mary's books from Mary's room, we say Mary is fetching her books from her room. So there's the pronouns that stands in the place of the noun. Right, so a pronoun can always replace a noun. We get different types of pronouns. We get a personal pronoun, which is the subject of the sentence, I, me, and you. We get the possessive pronouns. Possessive, it indicates possession, mine, yours, my, his. Indefinite, when something is not specified, anybody, nobody. Demonstrative refers to a specific thing, this or that or these or those. Reflexive, it refers back to itself, myself or yourself. Relative, it indicates relation, that, which or whom. And interrogative is when you ask a question, what, which, and whose. Remember, the main function of the pronoun is that it stands in the place of the noun. Right, we go to the verb. Very simple. A verb is a doing word. So we work with a finite verb. It's a verb that can stand on its own. So I read a book. She eats an apple. They play a game. The infinitive, it's always with the word to. To plus the base form of the verb. And then the auxiliary verb is a helping verb. It helps the main verb. I will read. I can run. I must go. Right, so an auxiliary verb is always there to help the main verb. We get to an adverb. Now, an adverb's main function is to describe the verb. So again, how do you find the adverb? First of all, find the verb and then look at the word describing the verb and you'll know that is the adverb. Remember, let's just go back. We have a noun, which is a naming word. Then we have an adjective which describes the noun. We have a pronoun that stands in the place of the noun. We have a verb which is an action word, doing word. And then we have an adverb that describes the verb. We have certain types of adverbs. One of manner, how does something happen? Place, where does something happen, time, when, frequency, how often, probability, what are the chances, duration, for how long, degree, to what extent. Again, if you only answer adverb, then you would receive that mark when they ask you the question, name the part of speech of the underlined word. Then we have a conjunction, which is a joining word. So it joins two words or phrases or clauses together. And it's words like and, but, for, yet, although, since, after, unless, however. So she went to school although she was feeling ill. Two sentences joined together. Then we have a preposition. A preposition show a relation between a noun or a pronoun and other words. So it's a small word which usually relate two words or phrases to one another. And it usually precedes nouns, pronouns, or articles. It's words like on, in, behind, before, and to. So the teacher sat on the chair behind her table in the classroom and spoke to her pupils. Right there on your screen are quite a few examples of prepositions. And if you look at the word preposition, the word position is in there and it indicates a position, right, of where it is, on, in, next to, in front of, behind, between, under, through, and around. Then we have articles. It precedes nouns or adjectives. We have a definite article, the, and we have indefinite articles, a we use when consonants are concerned, and we use where vowels are concerned. Right, so it's John won a prize for history, which is an indefinite article, a prize. Prize starts with a consonant, or you could have said Peter won the history prize. It's a definite article I used in that case. Right, then we have an interjection, and that is to express an exclamation. It's words like ouch and phew and oh and dear me, and it's usually followed by an exclamation mark. So let's recap quickly. A noun is a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. Nouns are concrete like dogs and cars, or abstract like anger, liberty, and friendship. Can be common like desks, puppies, and mother, or proper like Juanita McCallan or Texas. Right, that's nouns in a nutshell. Then a verb tells what the noun does or is. So she dances. It's a doing word. Right, then a pronoun. Remember, a pronoun stands in the place of the noun. So he or she, him or her, his or hers, nobody or all, or this or those. An adjective. The main job of the adjective is to modify or to describe the noun, a blue car, a red car, a light brown car. An adverb. The adverb is a descriptive word that tells us more about the verb. How do you find an adverb? Go and find the verb, the doing word, and see which word is describing that. And adverbs tell how, where, and when. Like yesterday, she ran quickly downtown. How did she run? Quickly. When did she run? Yesterday. Where did she run? Downtown. A preposition shows a position, relationship between two or more nouns. She walked through the door into the room. Right. She is the pronoun, walked through is your preposition, the door and the room is the nouns, into is another preposition. Right. Then the conjunction is a short joining word such as and, or, but, for, so, and, yet. Slowly and carefully. A red hat and a white shirt. She had no ticket, but he went anyway. Interjection is a word of shock or surprise. It's usually by itself and is followed by an exclamation mark like, wow, cool, awesome. Right, that concludes the part of speech. Remember, how do they ask it in the question? They can ask you, name the part of speech of the underlined word. They can ask you to change a noun into a verb or an adjective into a noun, right? Then you must be able to identify that word. So in order to identify it, you must be sure what the function is and what exactly is a noun, what is a pronoun, what is an adjective, what is a verb, what is an adverb, etc. Right, we move on to question tags. Now, how do they ask this in a paper? They give you a sentence and they ask you, change the following sentence into a question by adding a tag. And then a lot of you make the mistake by changing that sentence into a question because you did not read the question properly, your instructions. Right, when they ask you change it into a question by adding a tag, it means you take that exact sentence, you add a comma, you add a tag, and you add a question mark. Right, so the basics. If your statement is positive, the tag is negative. So if the statement says, she is eating, it is positive. Then your tag must be negative. Isn't she? Right, isn't she? If the statement is negative, she is not eating, the tag must be positive. Is she? You have to separate the statement and the tag with a comma, and the tag should be written as a contraction if negative. Isn't she? Right, that's your contraction. Remember the question mark at the end of the tag. If you do not put the question mark there, it's not a question, then you can't receive the mark. So the word not determines whether the statement or the tag is negative. So the world is round. There's no not in that sentence. So that is a positive statement. And the world isn't round, is not round. So the word not tells you it's a negative statement. So the world is round is your positive statement. Comma after your statement. Negative tag isn't it with a contraction and your question mark. And the other way around, they are late is a positive statement. Comma, aren't they? And the question mark, contraction, negative tag. And then I'm not going to the ball is a negative statement. The word not tells you it's negative. Put the comma after the statement. Am I? Positive tag question. He does not like ice cream. Negative statement. Comma. Does he? Question mark. Positive tag. Right. It's a question. It's a tag question, isn't it? So it's a tag question, positive, comma, isn't, contraction, it, question mark, negative tag, and that is correct. So what are question tags in a nutshell? Question tags are short questions used at the end of a sentence. They are used in spoken English, asking for agreement or confirmation. There are two forms. A positive sentence with a negative question tag. It is raining, positive, comma. Isn't it? Isn't is negative contraction, question mark, negative question tag. Right. Negative sentence, she isn't reading, she is not. The not tells you it's a negative sentence, comma, positive question tag, is she, question mark, full marks if you do it like this. Remember to read your question carefully. Look if they're asking, change the following sentence into a question, then it's a plain straightforward question. If they say, change the following sentence into a question using a question tag. Make very sure about whether your sentence is positive or negative, and that will determine whether your tag will be negative or positive. Right. We move over to plurals. Now, plurals may seem very easy, but this is where they want to catch you because they love to ask change the following sentence into the plural, and then there are words in that you misspell, you don't get the marks, or they put incorrect spelling of a plural word in that first part where you have to correct the single mistake in the sentence. So we are going to quickly look at a few of the most common plural mistakes that you make when you write a paper. Right, so it's a plural of a noun. So most nouns simply take an S. So it's one flower, it's a lot of flowers. It's 1 week, it's weeks. Place, places. Shop, shops. We have one house, a lot of houses. One garden, a lot of gardens, etc., etc. I can go on. Right, the next one. When we don't just add an S, if the noun ends in an S or a SH or a CH or an X, we add an ES. So, for instance, bus, buses, box, boxes, dish, dishes, church, churches, right? So there's a few examples for you where you add an ES. Okay. Then, if the word ends in a vowel plus a Y, you only add an S. A vowel, like an A at holiday, and a Y, holiday, you only add an S. Monkey, it's a E, is your vowel, and the Y. The same with key. Guy is a U and a Y. So here you only add an S. Make very sure when the word ends in a vowel plus a Y, you only add an S. Vowel plus Y, only add an S. However, when the word ends with a consonant and a Y, you drop the Y, you leave it, and you add a IES. So it ends in a consonant with a Y. Now, in the first word, sky, your consonant is K, and then a Y, you have to drop the Y, add an IES, skies. The same with party. Your consonant is the T, and the Y, drop the Y, IES, parties. Baby, babies. Assembly, assemblies. Country, countries. So let's go back. If it's a vowel ending on a vowel and a Y, you only add an S. So a vowel and a Y, only add an S. If it's a consonant and a Y, you drop the Y and you add an IES. Please remember that is very important because they catch you every time with words like these. All right, then we have words ending in an F and an FE. All right, those are words like shelf that become shelves because you change the F or the FE to a VES. All right, knife is knives, wife is wives. All right, there you can get thief, thieves, and loaf of bread is loaves, and wolf is wolves. All right, all of those words, when it's a F or a FE, it changes to VES. Now, if the word ends in an O, then you add an ES. Now, that's words like echo and tomato and euro and tornado and potato. So you add an ES, so it's echoes and tomatoes, euros, tornadoes and potatoes. There are also words that ends in an O where you only add an S, but that is musical words. A lot of them are musical words like pianos and banjos. Some things are always plural. It's a pair of glasses and pants, or trousers and scissors. And then we have more of those words, or words like clothes and tweezers and stairs and mathematics and goods and news and measles and politics. More words like that are earnings and thanks. Right. So those words are only in the plural form. And then some uncountable nouns always take a singular form. Remember, uncountable nouns always take a singular form, and it's words like advice and baggage and bread and coffee and luggage and gold and hair and weather and knowledge and parking and paper and information. All of those uncountable nouns always take a singular form. Right, and then we have irregular plurals. Some plurals do not end in an S and don't follow any rules. And those are man and men, women and women, child and children, foot and feet, tooth and teeth, mouse and mice, and sheep and then sheep. And remember, some words keep the same form in singular and plural form. For instance, sheep and fish and deer and series and buck and aircraft and moose. Right. Okay. So, and always remember, talking about plurals, never ever use an apostrophe S to form a plural. That is totally incorrect, and that is also where they are trying to catch you with correct the single mistake, when they use an apostrophe S to form a plural. In that question, correct the single mistakes. Right, now that concludes our lesson for today. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon further, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Stay safe, make wise choices. Goodbye.